These aren't ghost stories from the internet. These are 8 real encounters. 8 moments when ordinary people stepped into something they were never meant to see. Haunted buses, midnight callers, stalkers, shadows, and doors that should have stayed locked. What you're about to hear will stay with you long after the video ends. Have you ever gotten on a bus and realized the passenger beside you isn't quite alive? It was a cold, rainy night when Lisa, a college student, missed her usual bus. The next bus arrived, empty except for a shadowy figure sitting at the back. She hesitated, but got on, hoping the stranger wouldn't mind her presence. As the bus moved, the lights flickered, and the man remained completely still, staring straight ahead. Halfway through the ride, Lisa noticed something terrifying. The man's reflection in the window didn't match his position on the seat. Panic surged through her, but every time she turned, he remained motionless. When the bus finally reached her stop, she scrambled off, only to hear the driver say, "You're lucky you got off. He's been dead for years." The bus had been involved in a fatal accident decades earlier, and locals reported seeing a silent figure riding alone on stormy nights. Lisa never rode that route again. What would you do if someone kept calling your phone from inside your own apartment? Karen, a young nurse, lived alone in a small apartment. One night, her phone rang repeatedly. The caller ID was blocked. She answered cautiously. A faint whisper repeated her address. She froze. Thinking it was a prank, she hung up, but the calls continued nightly. One evening, she returned from work to find her apartment door slightly ajar. Terrified, she called the police. They traced the calls to a nearby house, empty for years. But when they investigated, they found walls scratched with her name and an outline of her apartment drawn in blood. Karen moved away immediately, haunted by the sound of whispers every time she changed her number. Imagine babysitting alone and realizing someone is watching you from the attic. Young Emma loved babysitting, but one night, a mother warned her about strange noises in the attic. Emma laughed it off, thinking it was the house settling. Around midnight, she heard soft footsteps above her. The kids were asleep, and the house felt empty. She called the mother, whispering her fear. The mother's voice trembled. "Emma, lock the doors. He's been in my house before. He never leaves footprints." Emma ran to the stairs, but a shadow blocked her way. She never returned to babysit in that neighborhood. He picked up a stranded girl on a dark highway, but she vanished before his eyes. Mark was driving late along a deserted highway when a young woman flagged him down. She looked lost and cold. He offered a ride, and she silently got in, pointing ahead. Half an hour later, Mark glanced back. She was gone. Panicked, he pulled over, and a nearby farmhand told him a woman matching her description had died on that road exactly 5 years ago, trying to hitch a ride home. Mark still avoids that highway after dark. A college dorm had a room no one dared to enter until curiosity went too far. A college dorm had a room no one ever entered. The legend said the previous occupant vanished inside. Curiosity got the better of Jake. One night, he picked the lock. The room smelled of decay, and he saw scratch marks on the walls. Suddenly, the door slammed shut. He struggled for hours. When rescued, his friends found the room empty, except for a mirror showing his terrified reflection. But he was still outside, screaming at them. Jake left campus soon after. A creepy doll in an abandoned cabin, and suddenly it followed them home. Teenagers exploring an abandoned cabin stumbled upon a small porcelain doll, staring with lifelike eyes. They took it as a joke, but that night, every door and window in their homes opened on its own. Footsteps echoed in empty rooms. By morning, the doll had appeared in every house, silent, smiling. The teens returned it to the cabin, but locals say it still waits for new visitors. She noticed someone watching her, but the photos under her door revealed a nightmare. Maya noticed someone watching her from across the courtyard. Days later, she found photos of herself slipped under her door, always taken from outside her window. The police found an abandoned apartment building nearby, filled with her photographs, cataloged and dated. The stalker was never caught, and she moved to a different city. But every time a window in her new apartment rattles at night, she fears he's still out there. He stepped into the elevator for a normal night shift, and it descended into a terrifying void. Tom worked the night shift in a skyscraper. One night, he entered the elevator, pressed his floor, and the doors closed. The elevator kept descending, past the basement, deeper than the building should allow. When it finally stopped, the doors opened to a pitch-black void. A cold hand gripped his shoulder, and a voice whispered, "You shouldn't be here." He ran back to the elevator, and when the doors opened again, he was back on the lobby floor. He quit the job immediately, haunted by what lurks beneath the building. If you enjoy true horror stories like this, like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification button to see more.